straight left hand.
Minute and a half left to go.
Just like one of those jet pilots. Roy Jones Jr. Let me tell you, that first left hook hurt Griffin.
Roy Jones Jr. is considered to be the last chosen one in the world of boxing legends.
Now he puts power behind the right hand, and down goes Paul.
At the turn of the century, he didn't just knock his opponents out,
Benefiting by it. Oh, with a left hook.
he made them look foolish.
They learned that on Saturday night.
By hacking the matrix of reality and marching through weight classes for decades, Roy amassed a collection of belts beyond the comprehension of mere mortals.
Thing I don't like about boxing.
And now it is the time to recollect the handiwork of one of the greatest artists who has ever stepped inside the ring.
Ron Lipton watching as Roy Jones tattoos Brannon. And then Jones says, look, you want more? Okay.
Roy Levesta Jones was born in January of 1969 into a family with strong fighting traditions. His father, a Vietnam veteran, made a name for himself in professional boxing in the 1970s. After becoming a coach, Roy Jones Sr. focused on the younger generation. He was a strict man and often cruel. Still, it was his idea of movement as life and downtime as death that formed Jones's son into a future champion. Already in 1984, Roy won the U.S. National Junior Olympics, and 2 years later, the young prodigy took a prestigious bronze medal at the Goodwill Games in Moscow. In his homeland, however, Roy tolerated no competition. Upon winning the Golden Gloves Championship twice and securing himself a ticket to the 1988 Olympics, Jones went to South Korea. The 19-year-old weight class favorite from the U.S. debuted in Seoul with a knockout.
And Roy Jones gets him again with a beautiful decided that it's over.
He made it to the finals without losing a single round in the entire tournament.
Jones keeps that left low as a...
For 9 minutes, Jones was outstriking Park Si-hoon, the host country's representative, 3-1.
Roy Jones has opened up in strong fashion. Calling card and take off right there. Ooh.
In the second round, the referee gave Park a standing 8 count.
Crowd reacted to the right by Park that grazed Jones. A standing 8. Yes, a standing 8.
After the knockdown, nothing seemed to foreshadow the biggest heist in Olympic boxing history.
Roy Jones.
When the judges announced the verdict, the third man in the ring bluntly told the American, "I can't believe they did that to you," and the shocked Korean personally apologized for the win.
Because if he said yes, then he didn't know it, but he was going to get another one.
Once he fell victim to big politics, Roy went into big-time sports. Ricky Randall was the unlucky one to launch Jones's pro career in 1989. A month later, Junior deliberately kept the seasoned Stephen Johnson unfinished for 8 rounds. The battering drill ended only at the last minute of the match.
Johnson has never been down. Looking very happiness. That's it. He does. Yes, it is all over.
As if to make up for his bitter Olympic experience, Roy has not allowed his opponents to last till the final bell 3 years in a row. Fight after fight, he showed the superiority of talent with zero indulgence to the opposition. This was also the time when Roy finalized his signature hands-down style. The abundance of left hook knockouts earned him the nickname Captain Hook.
Here on Sport.
In addition, due to his outer space footwork and right-hand speed, Jones has become known as Superman. In fact, this image has never suited anyone better.
Priority image.
Oh, my. Big, that will finish it. Just forget about it. Art Serrano got hit.
With a 15-0 record, Junior started the year of 1992 against a former WBC champion, Jorge Vaca. Junior made his first, and quite a pompous appearance, in the pay-per-view broadcasting world.
In the left hand, but there he goes.
Vaca kept lowering the right arm with every jab, something Roy didn't forgive. In June, Jorge Castro became the first person to finally discontinue the mind-blowing 17 knockout streak. The title-caliber Argentinian with 75 career appearances and a granite chin posed quite a test for the American Wunderkind. Anything Junior dispatched, Castro embraced. By the end of the bout, he remained on his feet to the amazement of many.
It would be the same kind of fight because what Castro is having trouble with. Castro steps back.
Still standing upright, the Argentinian faced the verdict, which was seen as a great achievement.
He still has the speed.
In between the performances, Roy fired his unbearably oppressive father. The last straw was the tragedy that happened to his pet.
He didn't realize that he was stepping too far on me.
One of Roy Jr.'s dogs bit his little sister on the arm.
Roy's father took a gun and went over and killed the dog.
Jones Jr. went to coach Alton Merkerson, the one he'd known since the Olympics. Under his guidance, Roy met Glenn Thomas. The regime change seemed to have no effect on Jr., who massacred Thomas in the final seconds of the 8th round.
Feelings, if it was a mutual agreement, should Roy Jones Sr. be here to show his support?
Oh, and now Jones over Thomas. Looks like it ended here in the 8th. But Thomas gamely battling back. Seconds remaining. How's he standing up?
That night, Captain Hook was on fire.
And still undefeated, Roy Jones!
Further in December, he went to attempt for a champion title against another prospect, Percy Harris. Pretty quickly, Roy's opponent regretted not bringing a flying license.
One thing I don't like about Percy Harris, and there he's down already. Excuse me. I don't fear what you've got, but Harris is in serious trouble again. And Jones, aping Ray Leonard, throws his glove.
After that, Percy lied down 2 more times, but he got up by sheer willpower.
Solidly, and now there's blood coming out of Harris's mouth, and down he goes again.
The denouncement came in the 4th round.
Another right cross. Harris in trouble again. Can Harris make it out of round 4? Not without going down.
Suddenly feeling no solid ground under his feet, Harris lost the WBC Continental Super Middleweight title to Jones.
Because I always wanted a green belt. I wanted all the belts, but I definitely wanted a green one because WBC was hot and it was a green one.
Regional regalia, meanwhile, seemed below Junior's ambitions. In 1993, Glenn Wolf became a pass-through piece of a one-act performance for the powers that be.
Oh, what a left hook inside by Jones. Dances, drops his hands, and pounds away. And Glenn Wolf has had enough.
And if earlier Jones aroused promoters' curiosity, now he had their undivided attention. As early as May, none other than Bernard Hopkins deployed a fighting force in the opposite corner. The 28-year-old executioner with a 22 win streak knew how to convince the opponents to never get up after his punches. With the IBF middleweight title on the line, Bernard was determined to beat up Jones.
Hopkins with a right hand over the...
It turned out, however, that their top-tier finisher had nothing to counteract Junior's outside fighting magic.
position from which Muhammad Ali used to throw the jab.
Combinations by Roy Jones. Right hand, left hook, and there's another.
Clinch episodes were often handled by Roy, too.
Jones throwing it.
For all 12 rounds, he pierced the defense and stung with gloves like a nimble fencer.
And eventually Hopkins stepped away. Boxer in those games, trying to win his first world championship. The vacant IBF middleweight title.
The final decision brought him the first significant belt of the Big Four boxing associations. Later on, Hopkins would not lose for another 12 years, making his way to the undisputed world champion.
And they think he's going to...
Captain Hook, in turn, airdropped Thulain Malinga.
Straight left hand was spectacular, and this is it.
Upon receiving a left hook, Malinga spent a couple of seconds in freefall, waiting for his parachute to open. This is how Roy closed out 1993, chilling in the sports elite. He was now on an unbelievable streak of 23 wins and 21 knockouts. Still, the boxing world was yet to realize Jones's future potential.
Solidly, and now there's blood coming out of Harris's.
The next year opened with 2 dazzling voyages of Captain Hook in the ring. First, he ran over Danny Garcia, who was unable to withstand a flurry of punches near the ropes in the 6th round. Another victim, Thomas Tate, fell in the 2nd. But suddenly, Jones got bored. He outgrew the middleweight category, where the challengers collapsed from the mere glance of him. A move up to super middleweight in 1994 was instantly marked by a bout with the division's king, James Lights Out Toney. James was known for his impenetrable defense and surpassed Roy statistically with 29 knockouts in 44 bouts without a single loss. Before the fight, there was not even a whiff of courtesy.
That's all I can do. I got to go out there and do what I got to do to teach that lesson.
He can't. Can nobody teach me a lesson? I'm the teacher, baby.
Jones, entering as the underdog, was yet another thing that made the encounter between the two champions even more intriguing. Still, off to a good start, Roy did everything he wanted to make the world's second man in pound-for-pound rankings look merely average.
So far, Jones has asserted himself pretty well. Good combination from Jones. Toney into trouble!
In the third round, Junior's teasing move provoked a mistake that Toney will blame himself for the rest of his career.
With some beautiful shots back at Toney.
Oh! Big left hook, and down goes Toney! He was caught showing off.
He did by that patented jump-in left hook.
And yet, the so far reigning world champion could not be crumbled in the ring so easily.
Playing a decoy game, but Jones landing the boom, and they traded.
Every now and then, James reminded Roy that he is rightfully a top-class fighter.
Toll on James Toney because he just got caught with another good left hook, even though he's sliding and rolling with a lot of them.
Oh! Good left hand.
Still, Captain Hook was a step ahead of his foe, effortlessly conquering the toughest challenge.
And upstairs.
Toney came back with a counter.
Oh, a smash! Left hook to the
Decision and new super middleweight.
After 12 rounds, the unanimous decision made Jones one of the world's best boxers, regardless of weight class. He spent the next 1.5 years defending his belt. With no chance of salvation, much less any hope for a competitive fight, the challengers were going down in batches. One of the most spectacular wrecks was Vinny Panzienza in 1995. In the fourth, Junior became the first pro boxer in recorded history to win an entire round without taking a single hit.
In terms of offense, to left-right nods that he knows he got hit.
27. The dancing steps have been good.
Oh, look at that jab I have ever seen. That includes Muhammad Ali.
After a series of knockdowns in the sixth one,
He's going to fall on his face. It's a big right-hand lead. He's down again.
the Tasmanian Devil's scalp went straight to Roy Jones's Hall of Humiliation.
Jones says, come on, Vinny, let's call it a day. That's going to be it. I think Tony Line, that's over.
Roy Jones Jr. has defeated.
In the summer of 1996, Roy set another record as the first pro athlete to participate in two sports on the same day. Thus, a morning basketball game with a $300 prize was followed by an evening defeat of future champion Eric Lucas worth $1.7 million.
That was to break Roy Jones's hand on his jaw. Competitive fight.
Continuing to devalue the ambitions of the world's top-tier fighters, Jones faced the undefeated Bryant Brannon in October of 1996. Breaking off the moral shackles, Roy went on from extravagance to intrigue and mockingly dispatched the opponent to the canvas twice.
He took command with the possibility of Bryant putting up a big fight against Roy Jones. And their man is just getting...
As the beatdown dragged on, Jones asked the ref to have mercy on Bryant, but he refused.
And then Jones says, look, you want more? Okay.
As a result, it took Brannon a long time to recover from a severe knockout. Without a single mistake over 5 defenses, in November 1996, Jones faced the 39-year-old light heavyweight Mike McCallum. Notably, Roy only agreed to appear in a new category to help Mike make some money.
So at some point...
When McCallum forgot about that fact and started pressing in the 10th round, Junior cooled him off with a knockdown.
Out of there. McCallum seems just... Whoa! Just as I said that.
Following the 12th one, the 27-year-old Roy ended up with the WBC belt, a record of 34 consecutive wins, and the Boxer of the Year title. But in the first defense, already, Jones faced the nightmare of every unbeaten boxer. The undefeated Montel Griffin, with 18 KOs over 26 victories, seemed to experts like a worthy form of opposition. The challenger's plan was to give Junior no room to maneuver. In the opening rounds, Montel actually handled this difficult task pretty well, cornering Jones and attacking the body.
Not too much punching. The one is
But then Roy went hog wild
some pretty solid shots.
and knocked Griffin down with a couple of hooks in the 7th round.
White trunks with black trim. And there's a knockdown.
He's one of the greatest lightweights. Big right hand by Jones.
In the 9th, unwilling to drag out the match, Jones rushed to wrap it up.
And a couple of left hooks. And Griffin's knee goes down. And Jones lands 2 punches after Griffin's knee was on the canvas.
With the victory already being celebrated, Roy found himself deprived of the belt and the cherished 0 in the defeat column.
Referee disqualifies the red corner.
As the finishing blows went on, the allegedly fainting Griffin took the knee. The slack ref's failure to stop the fight in time and Jones's abuse of power led to his disqualification.
I got disqualified again, just like at the Olympics. Probably a devastating moment of my career because I never wanted to have a loss.
In the August rematch, Angry Roy did not accept the opponent's surrender. The only thing he was interested in was slaughter. Jones shook Griffin in the first few seconds.
Let me tell you, that first left hook hurt Griffin.
Towards the end of the opening round, his vicious hook smacked the opponent to the floor.
Griffin is benefiting by it. Whoa, with a left hook. What a...
And that's that. Jones gets his vindication.
That night, his signature weapon did not misfire. All groggy, Montel made a few fruitless attempts to get up, but failed to overcome gravity during the 10 count.
And that's that.
In April 1998, the 29-year-old champion faced Virgil Hill, an owner of a sound 43-2 record. In the 4th round, Jones delivered such a jeweled right hook to the floating ribs, even the audience could feel it.
И Хилл почти все противники гораздо больше его. Да, вот это был удар.
The image of Hill squirming in agony won Roy the Knockout of the Year award.
Хилл почти все противники гораздо больше его.
Just 3 months later, Junior had a unification bout against the WBA champion Lou Del Valle. An awkward southpaw, Del Valle was losing the fight clean for 8 rounds.
5 excellent body shots in this round.
Finishes this stuff, he can be in good shape when this fight wears on.
But when victory seemed to be in Jones's pocket,
And landing with those straight left hands.
Gotta ignore all of Jones's unconventional brilliance.
Throw some of those 12-inch jams that were really faint.
That's a single body shot to the left side of Hill's ribcage. 3-punch combo.
the impregnability of his defense was questioned for the first time. A left cross kept Roy on the canvas for a short moment, then he managed to avoid being finished off with no loss. In the remaining rounds, Junior kept up the good work without slacking up. A clear winner of the fight, Jones was handed a victory and yet another champion belt.
Well, Roy Jones is closing the show.
As he kept raising the opponents to the ground and getting inside distance wins, Roy tallied up the calendar fights totals. His official record reached 39-1, whereas in fact, it was 40-0. In June of 1999, Jones faced an IBF title holder, Reggie Johnson. The winner would leave the ring as an undisputed world light heavyweight champion. With a big smile and an overwhelming advantage, Junior took each of the 12 rounds.
1 minute down, hard right hand by Jones.
Chopping his opponent down twice along the way.
Just like one of those jet pilots.
For the first time in 15 years, all of the division's significant regalia were wrapped around Roy the Great's waist. In May of 2000, Jones put a blush on Richard Hall's cheeks.
Decides to back. Minute and a half left to go. Straight right hand lands.
Superman got all stirred up as early as the first round.
Now he puts power behind the right hand and down goes Hall.
Upon delivering the second knockdown, he was on the way to the close.
He has not been a good finisher in a long time. Well, he hadn't had a first round.
But having made an allowance for extravagance, Junior slowed down and switched over to inscribing the most mocking performance in his career.
Roy's is opening up angles.
Roy Jones.
Yeah.
All right.
Punches against Jones.
As the 11th round of the thrashing went on, the Jamaican boxer was barely withstanding every upcoming punch.
Why doesn't the referee stop him?
But Roy managed to further turn up the absurdity. The referee only intervened when Hall, trapped in the corner, was about to breathe his last gasp, while the commentators begged for a stoppage.
Stop it, Wayne. Come on. This isn't competition anymore. This is a bloodletting. This is absolutely preposterous. Richard Hall should not be taking these shots. Thank God.
Jones, however, was determined to continue his humiliation parade against the best boxers of his era. February 2002, Junior buried the Australian boxer with a 28-0 unbeaten record, Glenn Kelly. This time, Junior was less picky about his targets, with the uppercut in the third not being the decisive one. Kelly got up again after a liver shot in the sixth.
Against Glenn Kelly of Australia. And down goes Kelly.
But all that was just to make a big show for the following round.
The opponent or whatever. Shane Mosley learned that last Saturday night. Again. You know, that's pretty amazing.
Unveiling a stunt for which the world will praise Conor McGregor in the future, Jones scored a right hook that finally had the Australian fighter demolished.
Because I was countering him so much, counter-punching him so much, he stopped punching. Put your hand behind your back, he'll punch then. I'm like, who really in a pro fight? Okay, put my hand behind my back, pow, there he goes. Works.
At the end of 2002 and a decade-long title campaign, the 33-year-old Junior easily conquered the Everest in every weight class he had competed in. With 38 knockouts over a 47-1 record, the reigning light heavyweight champion had nothing else to prove within the division. Jones also found himself at the pinnacle of success outside the ring, combining timeless sport hall musical hits with great appearances in global blockbuster movies.
God damn it, Morpheus, you ain't never gonna change.
In March 2003, Roy came up with a new challenge for himself, to become the world heavyweight champion. A year prior to that, John Ruiz had taken the WBA title from the aging Evander Holyfield. Despite his modest size for a heavyweight, Ruiz was 30 pounds heavier than Junior, who had been gaining muscles for the whole training camp and showed 193 on the scales. As the starting bell rang, however, Jones's opponent barely kept his panties on.
And lands the first big right hand, and Jones lands the left in return, and they're fighting in the center of the ring. Big right hand by Jones. There's a solid right cross by Jones. Ruiz takes it very well.
Basically, Ruiz had lost the belt before he had had a chance to realize it.
Ooh! He stunned him with that. He stunned him with that.
Ruiz shook him.
And now Jones looks to do it again.
No lessons learned, he kept taking Junior's penetrating blows, boldly delivered with both hands.
Great right hand landed. Against outclassed opponents, he's gone 12 rounds. Just because he doesn't like to do
feast from the ropes, Ruiz.
Once Roy added a drop of self-love to the audience's obsession, Roy caused a tantrum in the helpless Ruiz's corner.
Fight him! Come on, Johnny! Fight him! He's taking your fucking title away from you! The referee stops all your work!
Keeping control of the heavyweight in all aspects of the bout, Jones was raised to the Olympus of the glorious Royal Division by the judge's decision.
Easy! Roy Jones Jr. Roy Jones!
He became the first boxer to get the heavyweight title all the way from the 160-pound division. To make it easier for MMA fans to grasp the uniqueness of this achievement, that was like Charles Oliveira taking the welterweight and middleweight titles these days, then skip light heavyweight and beat Francis Ngannou right away. Maybe this was the point when 34-year-old Jones reached the top of the boxing mountain. There was nothing left to conquer. Therefore, the road ahead could just be a downfall.